it was just a lot of being on top of tours that we were on and taking it in as it came and just trying to not get too upset about, oh my gosh, we've got what? But sitting back and relaxing and having good meals together and just enjoying our time, watching musicians fill our evenings. It was just grand. So here we go. Let me share with you our journey to antiquities via Viking cruises on the Viking Venus. For the trip, I carefully put my stitching projects together, the 3 that I wanted to take, on board the Viking Venus. We had previously traveled with her in October of 21, and she had made her premiere in May of 21. So she's still a very fresh ship, and she's a smaller ship than those ginormous cruise ships. Our exciting spur-of-the-moment travel plans came to be where we would be pretty much on nearly the same cruise that we took October a year ago. And we traveled back to Turkey, then down to Crete, and then over to Sicily, which would be new to us, up to Naples, and then exiting in Rome. I packed up to craft on the You're My Missing puzzle piece, the wedding thing for my son Zach, the Abraham Lincoln big sampler, and then my New Year's start, which is my bicycle. And I spent most of the week on the bicycle, I will admit. In the truck and headed towards LAX, our exit is on the, I think it's the southwest side as we go in. And our son dropped us off at the Bradley terminal. And here's my friend Tammy and my mother-in-law, Dorothy. We flew, of course, the polar route. Hi, Laura Lynn, as we go by there. And headed to good old Zurich, where then that took, I think, not quite 11 hours to Zurich. And then over to Athens took almost 5 plus, almost 6 hours more. The Zurich mountains behind the airport were just beautiful. Had to take some photos of that. And then here we were, Athens, boarding at about dinner time. The next day we headed up into Delphi, which is about 110 miles up in the mountains. It is the home of the most important temple of Apollo. There's a beautiful theater. There's a stadium, a coliseum there for people to work out, and a beautiful museum to understand the idea of Apollo and the oracle. You would, I guess, go there on retreat and rejuvenate yourself and listen to the voice of the oracle tell you what your prophecy was. Beautiful. This is my first time in that museum. I really enjoyed it. I noticed that they put fence around the area where you'd go up into the ruins, so that now the ticket involves the museum and the ruins. Prior, when I'd go with students, they would just have us walk around the ruins, and the tour guides would tell us about different aspects of those ruins. But here we got behind the scenes story of the architecture. They were demolished. They were not ruined just by earthquakes. The pagan gods were put down by various tribes of Christians and what have you. Lovely, lovely works. I took photos of these specifically because they reminded me of beautiful borders on quilts or in stitching. Art and the borders and finality have not changed so much in so many thousands of years. Beautiful statues. I loved the lattice work. They looked like lettuce leaves. And of course, the theater at Delphi. This was probably a winner to a huge race. The very important Temple of Apollo, where the oracle would be reached through what I would call the basement, and this was destroyed by, they believe, human hands. The temple, and then we went to a wonderful lunch at a local restaurant where I actually have been to before with busloads of students. They serve, this family-run restaurant, they serve beautiful meals, appetizer, main course, and dessert. It's in Arachova, which is a mountain resort town, and of course it was being descended upon by New Year's Eve celebrants. Back to the Venus, docked in Athens, and off we go to Turkey, to Kudasaki, where they are we're signed up to go on a outing to the Virgin Mary's home for the rest of her life up in the hillsides there at Ephesus, and then to around the Ephesus library and the theater. Oh, the sun was just so beautiful that day. And then, of course, they take us to, that's where I guess Mary would baptize people, and she was told to stop that. This is her home, and then I was told to stop taking photos, but our tour guide took a photo of us outside. You can light a candle, and I guess during the really hot time of the year, when it's busy, people light so many candles, they need that many shrines. There are so many different beautiful aspects to this shrine to Mother Mary. Of course, the apostles and Mary were told to be quiet, keep it calm. And of course, Peter's prison is over on a hill. Mary was kept way up. I think it was like 3,500 feet where this home was. And of course, John was sent to the Isle of Patmos, where he wrote the book of Revelations. Here's the theater at Ephesus, and there's the library. And we had some young people doing some, I think, TikTok, of course, choreography, and I couldn't take my eyes off them. It was quite the sight. And on the way back to the bus, the tour guide will point out where these circles are etched in the stone. And then in the dirt, right as we were leaving, he explained that the circle with the lines going through it are Jesus Christ and brotherhood, and that whatever shop that this might be in front of is someone who recognizes you as a Christian, so you'd be copacetic to visit that shop. They'd get you. Greeting in conversation, the first person waves their arm from the upper left to the lower right, and then the person in response goes from the lower right to the upper left in a fish motion, so you'd know that you were safe. And of course, the Turkish government subsidizes the creating, teaching, and selling of Turkish rugs. And so before we get to the boat, we are let off at a tour of the rug sales folks. And Eric and I enjoyed purchasing a silk rug a year ago, October, and this year, Lonnie, our friend, was supposed to stop Eric from any such purchases. And so here's Lonnie's rug. Yes, Lonnie bought a rug for their mountain cabin, wool. And then because I made a comment that this rug was the one that I thought Lonnie would like because it reminded me of Boy Scout patches there at the edge, my husband bought that one. So both these guys are now owners of fresh wool Turkish rugs. Off we go to Crete. New Year's Eve, we had a lovely, lovely meal, and I just could not get over the variety and beauty in the desserts that they served each of us according to our choices. Beautiful. Eric and I did not stay up for New Year's. I was just too wiped out, but Tammy and Lonnie did. I borrowed this from their video. Yay, Tammy! They had a good time. It was fun out there on the pool deck. Next day, we awoke to rain and rainbows, unbelievable rainbows. I, for my first time in my life, saw not a double rainbow, but a triple rainbow that was crossed like the back of, what do you call them? Shoots. Suspenders. Crete suspender rainbows. Look at those. Just amazing. And they lasted for quite a few minutes, and then it started raining again. From our landing on the Isle of Crete at Suda Bay, we were taken by coach in to do a walking tour of the main old port city of Chania. And the tour guide was very keen to point out that there were so many influences, not only from Arab culture, but Turkish culture, Roman culture, and of course, Greek culture. This is the oldest Catholic church in Chania, and across the street from it is it's from 1200s. From the middle 1600s is the Our Lady of Assumption. This is a beautiful restaurant that was closed that I thought, gosh, in the summer I bet this place is jamming. This is the Jewish quarter. Lots of little areas that were quarters of various immigrant tribes areas. A knife. It's very common in Chania to present someone with a knife. I definitely needed a pair of these tennis shoes, but the shop wasn't open. Our tour guide was very, very knowledgeable. This is the marketplace that is being rebuilt. It's in the shape of a cross or a plus sign, with its various wings of sails, and it's supposed to be open again next year. Back on board following Chania, we had more rain, and we were leaving our jackets and our sweatshirts to dry. Oh. On New Year's Day, we were out at sea making our way from Crete to Sicily, and it was a gorgeous, just wide open day. I worked on my stitching, and oh my gosh, death by chocolate counter in the world market area. Oh my goodness. And then music. after a day at sea, here we are in Sicily. And we had a coach tour to go up in the hills to Taormina. And here's our view of Mount Etna. And it's just amazing to watch the bus driver negotiate these narrow mountain roads. It was so beautiful. Mount Etna is very much alive. Walking through the streets, window shopping, many ruins, and of course, my greatest desire was to get to the theater, which is in Taormina. I know that it was a photo in my school anthology when I taught a Greek theater that I always wanted to get to. It started as a Greek theater, and of course, because the Romans acquired it, it is mostly Roman in architecture now. As we made our way through the streets, we were encouraged to try to score cannoli, an arancini, or a bruschetta, fish dishes, and pizza. And when you think about it, these are all great to grab and go while on the run. You can eat all of these. The fish dish is a Sicilian dish that employs rolled anchovies with toasted breadcrumbs, pine nuts, and raisins, and a grated Parmesan. And they're just in little rolls. So, of course, everything's circular. Get to the theater. Here we go. We unfortunately did not score any arancini, which is the fried rice balls.
To make some biscuits using caruba seeds, and it's really a very healthy food. But it is also said that in the ancient times, caruba seeds were used to weight small items, like for example gold rings or jewelry in general, because it was said that all the seeds have the same weight. I have not controlled actually myself, but I have just read about it. So that's why, for example, when we say
a carrot, the carrot is the seed from caruba seeds, and then diamonds were measured by the weight of the caruba seed. I hear that over the years, in addition to main Italian singers, also such artists as Deep Purple, Elton John, James Blunt, Sting, Santana, and of course Andrea Bocelli. And there's a Sicily Day by Day festival that happens in July. Eric, sing happy birthday. I'm here.
Buongiorno Italia, gli spaghetti al vento, partigiano come presidente, un autoradio sempre nella mano destra, sopra la finestra. Buongiorno Italia con i suoi artisti, contro l'America si manifesti, con le canzoni, con l'amore e con il cuore, io dormo sempre meno suore. Buongiorno Italia, buongiorno Maria, e non ti dire malinconia. Buongiorno Dio, lo sai che ci sono anch'io, lasciatemi cantare.
The musicians weren't there when we walked up originally, and I'm assuming that they drove up in this awesome little car. I guess when your car is such a showpiece like this, you can get away with parking it in the middle of the quad. There you go. Farewell, Sicily. We had our dinner reservation at Manfredi's with a lovely, lovely dinner. We enjoyed our favorite musician, Paolo, and then the next day we were in Naples. We took a walking tour through the main old downtown area. It goes way, way back. So many cultures, so many centuries through the years. We went on a walking tour of tunnel caverns that were used in not just World War II. Oh, random pastry chef there. And to access it, you started the tour by going down over 90 stairs, deep steps. And my mother-in-law just couldn't cope. She needed a lot of help to leave. So Lonnie and Eric got a hold of her elbows and helped her out carefully. And to get back to the boat, we did hire a taxi, which was an experience. Motorcyclists are very, very challenging to keep, tight traffic with. And I want to say she was fine within a few minutes, but within an hour and a half or so, all was well, and we were back enjoying our entertainment. As we were driving back, we noticed that our ship, the Venus, had a neighbor, which was ginormous. And after a little bit of research, we found out it is the MSC Bellissima, which holds 7,500 passengers and I think 1,600 crew members. It's ginormous. Eric and I are like, yeah, we don't want to be on something so ginormous, but there it was. And the passengers and the crew that go along with that were in our berth area. And that is my travel stitch journal, Mediterranean style. It was a lovely, really neat experience with our friends. Back at home, guess what my first meal was that I created? A breakfast pizza. Yes, I did, and it was absolutely delicious. I've kept stitching at my bicycle, and we followed through on our camp reservations at Newport Dunes, which was a place for us to crash. We met our friends at El Cholo in Corona del Mar for dinner and had a really nice drive home, watching for all the snow on the mountaintops behind the Los Angeles area. Like and subscribe if you like, and I wish you a very happy new year.